Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the one topic on every single business leader's mind, artificial intelligence. So you hear the AI hype everywhere, right? But the real question is, how do you actually turn all that buzz into bottom-line results? In this Explainer, we're going to unpack the exact playbook consultants are using to guide companies through successful AI transformations. Let's dive right in. All right, so first things first, why is everyone so hyped about AI? Well, it's not just a buzzword. It's about a real promise of transformation. And let me tell you, consultants get very, very specific about what that promise actually looks like. And this is maybe the biggest point right here. It's not about shiny new tech. Not at all. The entire playbook, the secret sauce, it's all about finding the biggest, most annoying pain point in a business and aiming AI right at it. So what are we actually talking about in terms of results? I mean, look at this. For those repetitive tasks, the scheduling, the outreach, all that grunt work, the promise is a mind-blowing 60 to 80% jump in efficiency. And this isn't about replacing people. It's about freeing up your best people to do what they do best, thinking, creating, and solving big problems. And it's not just about getting faster at the boring stuff. Think about this. In product development, AI can slash your time to market by 40 to 60%. I mean, can you imagine launching your new product while your competition is still stuck in meetings? That's a huge, huge advantage. And of course, it all comes down to the bottom line, right? And the impact here is just, wow. We're talking about huge cost reductions all over the place, slashing labor costs with automation, cutting down on compliance headaches with smarter tech, and seriously reducing what it costs to develop new stuff because you're getting it right the first time. Okay, so those numbers are great. They're impressive. But how in the world do you actually get there? Well, it turns out there's a surprisingly consistent 4-step plan that consultants use. It's like a universal roadmap to turn all that potential into cold, hard reality. And this is it. This is the playbook. The logic is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you discover the perfect problem to solve. Don't try to boil the ocean. Then you demonstrate the financial upside. You show them the money to get the bosses on board. Then, and only then, you run a small pilot program to prove it actually works in the real world. And once you've done that, you finally get the green light to scale it across the whole company. See, it's all about building momentum and keeping the risk low. Let's zoom in on that second step for a second, because this is pure genius. This is how you get the suits to sign the check. You don't just talk about savings, you show it. You put a simple calculator like this on the table, and you literally translate saved hours into actual dollars. I mean, when a task that took 5 hours a week suddenly takes 30 minutes, yeah, that investment decision gets a whole lot easier. But look, a plan on paper is one thing. Making it actually happen, that's another. So what are the key strategic moves that consultants use to make sure an AI transformation doesn't just fizzle out, but actually sticks? Okay, this right here might be the most critical piece of the entire puzzle. The framing is everything. The projects that work, the ones that succeed, they position AI as augmentation. Think of it as a co-pilot, a tool that makes your team smarter and faster. The other way, framing it as replacement, just creates fear and pushback. And that is the fastest way to kill a project before it even starts. The really smart consultants also have a few other tricks up their sleeve for a smooth rollout. First, they layer AI on top of what you already have. No one wants a massive rip and replace project. It's just chaos. Second, they simulate everything in a safe, controlled pilot. It builds confidence before anyone can get spooked. And finally, and this is crucial, they invest in upskilling. You've got to make sure your team feels empowered by the new tech, not threatened by it. So, you've done it. The system is live. Now what? How do you actually know if it's working? Well, it's all about measuring the real impact. And believe me, the best playbooks look way beyond just the initial cost savings. Now, this part is super important to understand. The big payoff isn't going to happen overnight. You have to manage expectations. A really well-run project will start showing some early wins within the first 6 months. You'll see that first real, tangible ROI in about 9 months. But the sustained multi-million-dollar impact, that builds over the next couple of years. But here's the thing. Success isn't just about one number on spreadsheet. The best approaches ask a whole bunch of bigger questions. Like, how fast are we actually getting value? Are our customers sticking around longer? Are we genuinely more efficient? Are big picture forecasts getting any better? When you look at all of that together, that's when you see the real story of the transformation. All right, let's get real for a minute. Not every AI project works out. Of course not. A good playbook is also designed to see the classic pitfalls coming from a mile away and steer right around them. This is the reality check.
And here's the kicker. Failure almost never comes from the tech. It's the human stuff. Projects crash and burn because the goals were fuzzy from the start, or because the data you're feeding the AI is a total mess. Or maybe it's just good old-fashioned resistance to change. Or, and this happens a lot, the expectations were just way, way overhyped from day one. A good consultant knows how to navigate all these landmines.
And this all leads to the final and maybe most powerful argument that consultants use to get companies to act. They completely reframe the conversation. It's not about the risk of doing something with AI. No, it's about the much, much scarier risk of doing nothing while your competition is out there getting faster and smarter every single quarter.
And that's really the ultimate question this whole playbook puts on the table, isn't it? The tech is here. Your industry's already transforming, whether you like it or not. So the only real choice you have left is, are you going to lead that change, or are you going to be forced to follow?